Good morning, children. How are you, children? I hope you will be fine. Now, I am also fine. Today, we are discussing chapter Friction. Friction. We have learned about this various type of force in the chapter force. We also learn about the force of friction, which plays an important role in our daily life. Let us learn in detail about this force in this chapter. So, force of frictional and its type. Activity 1. Identifying the force acting on a body and effects of frictional force. Children, observe figure 1. What you observe? A book is present on a table. Now we apply a force on that book. What will happen? Yes, the book gently move forward. The book acquires a certain speed in the direction of push. Now, sometime the speed of book is gradually decreases and after some time it stops. Why does the book stop after covering some distance? Yes, you know that the book is non-uniform motion with respect to the floor. In the fourth chapter, we studied that non-uniform motion of body takes. Now, force acting on the book. See, what forces are acting on this book? Now, first, weight of book. Weight of book. W. Acting vertically down. See, vertically down. Which force? Eva. Gravitational force. Now, normal force. Normal force N applied by the floor vertically up. As there is no change in the motion of the book along the vertical direction. So, the net force acting on the book in the vertical direction is 0. That means W minus N is equal to 0. That equal to W is equal to N. But in the horizontal direction, the speed of the book is changing continuously. Its speed is decreasing gradually in the horizontal direction. That means the book has acceleration opposite to the direction of the motion. So, by close observation of this activity, we can understand that the floor applies a force on the book against its motion. So, the force applied by the floor on the book is called frictional force. Which force? Frictional force. Frictional force. So, in this activity 1, the friction which comes into play when the surface of one object moves relative to the surface of the another object is called sliding friction. Now we learn another activity. The activity is the lab activity. So in this lab activity, the aim of lab activity is to understand the nature of friction and the concept of static friction. So some materials are required. Materials required. One is toy trolley, second one is small wooden block, third one is inextensible string, fourth one is weight hanger, fifth one is weights and sixth one is pulley and table. Children, observe the figure 4. What we want to observe? See, a toy trolley, a wooden ball, and weight hanger present on a table. Now then, procedure. So, take a small toy trolley and keep a small wooden block on it as shown figure 4. Tie an extensible string to the trolley and pass it over pulley and other end of the string is fixed to weight hanger. Take a small weight Take a small weights hanger and observe the change in motion of the block and trolley. What happened to the motion of the block kept on the trolley? Yes, you observe the surface of the trolley tries to keep the block at rest here with respect to its surface. Thus, the force of friction by surface of the trolley acts on the block in the direction of motion. At the same time, the block also applies a force on the trolley in opposite direction and tries to move towards to the right. See figure 5. Direction of motion. Direction of motion. We can increase the trolley's acceleration by increasing the weight and the weight hanger. And if we can increase the acceleration of the trolley gradually at certain limiting acceleration or limiting weight, the book comes into motion in the reverse direction. That means the force of friction by the surface of the trolley acts on the block on the direct of motion. At the same time, the block also applies a force in the trolley in opposite direction. In lab activity, the block is at rest relative to the surface of the trolley up to a certain limiting acceleration. The friction exists at this stage is called static friction. So, definition of the static friction is the friction which comes into play when surface of the object are rest relative to each other. In this lab activity, we observe that there exist two types of force. One is friction between surface of the table and trolley, and another one is static friction that exists between the surface of trolley and wooden block kept on it. Children, in this class what we learn? Yes, we can learn friction meaning and definition of the friction and types of friction. How many types we read? Two types. One is sliding friction, another one is static friction. Sliding friction means, which comes into play when the surface of the one object moves relative to the surface of another object too. Now, which static friction? Static friction is the friction which comes into play when surface of the objects are at rest relative to each other, even there is an external force acted upon. Okay children, remaining class will be take on tomorrow.